Um, a lot of people don't realize that the Military Commissions Act of 2006 and what it does, something called the habeas corpus. And this is the following a transcript of Keith Olbermann's special report on habeas corpus as reported on Tuesday, October 10th. And this is an old article from NBC News. And the president has now succeeded where no one has before. He managed to kill the writ of habeas corpus tonight. A special invitation how that in turn kills nothing less than your Bill of Rights. Because the Mark Foley story began to break on the night of September 28, exploding the following day. Many people may not have noticed the bill passed by the Senate that night. Congress passed the Military Commission Act to give Mr. Bush the power to deal effectively with America's enemies, those who seek to harm the country. He has been very clear on who he thinks that is. Now, George W. Bush, President of the United States, for people to leak that program and for a newspaper to publish it does great harm to the United States of America. The fact that we're discussing this program is helping the enemy. So, Bush did not like that Olbermann came out with 9/11 saying that the Commission Military Act destroyed the habeas corpus. And I'm talking about this because around 2006, there is a poll showing the spike in the story of prison population. And right here, the prison population started from between 1993 and 2008. And it took a peak in around 2005 and 2010, and that was after this Military Commission Act was passed by Congress. And this is why you have a prison population. Millions of Americans sit in jail. And it's because they killed the habeas corpus. This is something short I want to talk about because I didn't really elaborate in it on my Chicago, why the UN is going into Chicago. And I stated why they were going into Chicago, because most of these black children's parents are in jail from Bill Clinton's 1993 act that locked up many of black people in droves. And the prison population actually started in 1993, in between 1993 and 2008. And as I just told you, this war, this Military Commissions Act was passed on 2006 by Congress. And that is the beginning of the prison population. So that's what I wanted to elaborate on. This is just a quick video of information to put out. So if you're wondering why so many people are in jail and there's a prison population and people think it is designed, yeah, they killed the habeas corpus. Now, when Bill Clinton was in office, he made a law where you had to be in jail up to a year before you could file the habeas corpus, and that was a knife. They gutted the habeas corpus, and Bill Clinton, when he did that, you had to be in jail for a year before you can get the federal government to come in and say, hey, I've been jailed unconstitutionally. So this is why people are going to jail in droves and cannot challenge the reason why they're in jail. Like people like Sandra Bland, when she was locked up, A writ of habeas corpus, if it hadn't been destroyed by Bill Clinton, then turn around Bush destroyed it. If this sister could have filed a habeas corpus and say, I've been locked up or in prison unconstitutionally, then she probably would still be alive. So this is just letting you guys know that your government has gutted the habeas corpus, and this is why there's a prison population. What else do I want to say? Because a writ of habeas corpus was built into the Constitution to stop unlawful imprisonments. You know, being stopped on the street, snatched out of your car, and told you're going to jail and you don't know why. They don't have to tell you anymore. That's because they have destroyed the habeas corpus. Now, George Bush, when he was in office, he finished killing the habeas corpus by passing this Military Commissions Act. And you have to go through the whole state process before you can file a habeas corpus, and then Bill Clinton made you wait a year in jail before you could file it. And therefore, you have to sit there and you can't get out. And the majority of people in prison right now are blacks. The second to that would probably be Hispanics. I don't have the numbers, so I'm not going to elaborate, but that's what's going on. The demolishing of the habeas corpus is the reason why we have a prison state. We have prison population. But my children's father had kept getting locked up one time, and I was like, I need to figure out what is going on. So I filed it for him. I filed a habeas corpus, and it has power. I filed it, and next thing I know, one day, they start, the state judges start dropping the cases against him because they did not like the federal government going in and looking at the record. And once they were doing that, the state judges were getting furious with him because they were like, no, because when the federal judge comes in and look at a state court's record and see that a person was locked up for something stupid, they can intervene. But since the habeas corpus has been destroyed, they can't even do that. And then Bill Clinton wants you to wait a year before you can file it. And then with the Guantanamo Bay detainees, Bush made it to where you can only file it after you have went through the state whole mechanism. So if a state judge wants to play with your paperwork, or they lose it, or they keep delaying your trial, you will never get to a federal judge or get your case going through the state process, because they will continue to keep holding it up, messing you over so that you can't get to the federal. And I'm telling you, these presidents on both ends, the Democrat and the Republican presidents have this. So that's my story.